Well, there's not many firsts that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has left to accomplish, but believe it or not, he's accomplishing one this weekend. First time at Langley Speedway, just wrapped up practice. Well, let's get your first thoughts then. What are your thoughts on this place now that you've wrapped up a practice day?
The car come off the trailer pretty good with speed, so that really made things nice. I kind of sometimes struggle getting these cars figured out. They're really not easy to drive, they're easy to drive, but not easy to find speed, and so everybody's really close in time. So when you're down a little bit, it can be frustrating because qualifying's been tough for me as well. So I was just a little bit concerned about that, coming to a track I never run before and driving these cars I don't drive a lot, and just the challenges that I've already faced with them up to this point. So good off the truck, tested a little bit yesterday, decent today. Always want to be faster, hard not to get more and more competitive the more laps you get, trying to get more competitive with the rest of the field, but so far things are going good. So the track is, my mom lived here a long time, for 25 years, so I came here a lot as a kid, or a couple times at least, and watched a lot of races here on TV and on streaming over the last several years. This was one of the first tracks that got, a streaming option, and so I always wanted to race here. And there's a lot of other tracks I'd like to race at once, but this was doable. And Carson had a conflict and wanted to race, I guess, Indy this weekend. And so the team was like, we'll take you. And anytime these guys, as good as they are and as good as Carson runs, when they call me and go, we'd like to take you and run, I'm like, man, that's a great feeling. So I was excited that they wanted to do it, and because they're used to having a driver like Carson that can get in there and mash the button and go. And I still have some things I struggle with the cars a little bit, but we're having a good time, and Langley's been amazing.
We've noticed a trend with your late model stock race in the last few years. 30-plus-year-old North Wilkesboro Speedway, pavement, Florence, and now here. Is this extremely abrasive surface? Is this what you seem to love more so than maybe a place like Dominion or the new Wilkesboro where it's hammered down?
Unfortunately, I think the answer to that is yes. I know a lot of tracks. I'll put it to you like this, to be quite transparent, man. I don't enjoy, or at my age and with what I got going on in my life, to get in a car and have to run as hard as you can and run Q laps every lap for the race where there's not really a whole lot of fall off. It's just not that interesting to me. Now, I love watching it. I like watching other people do it. But for me as a driver, I think that since I don't run every week, and I'm handicapped a little bit with my experience in these cars, these are the race tracks where I feel like I give myself a chance. And the long races, right? The 200 lapper, we have, Florence, we go run long races there as well. And so I like the long events, and I do love the older surfaces because I feel like that I can take care of it, and it gives me a lot of time to learn in the race, but I just feel like it gives me a better shot. I think if I go to Dominion or South Boston and we're down on speed and I'm down on speed, it's hard to make that up. It's hard to fix that. Hard to maybe save a little more tire and take advantage of guys at the end of the race and do things like that at those places. And I'm sure I'll bite the bullet and go do it one day. I'm sure I'll say, we're going to go try it and just see how tough it is at one of these newer surfaces. But for now, I'm going to run 3 to 6 races a year. That's kind of what my family and my career, my professional life kind of allows. And so Florence is always a fun one for me. I always love racing there and love Steve and his whole family, and wanted to come here once. Maybe we'll enjoy it and have a great night, and we'll be back next year.
So there's 37 other cars here, 38 total, the largest car count this race has ever had, first sellout this race has ever had. How much pride do you have in helping places? I mean, let's not forget, this place was nearly left for dead nearly a decade ago. How much pride do you have in helping some of these places pack them in like this?
Well, I don't want to take any credit for it. I will say that I am a massive fan of late model stock racing, and I think that when we can tune people in that don't watch it, they're going to see a great race and they're going to see something they want to see again. These drivers that are in this field and in the Cars Tour and running weekly races and in the NASCAR series, put on great shows, amazing shows, and we just need to reintroduce the core fan base to this style of racing, and remind them of why it's great. And we've had some, I'm biased to the Cars Tour, but we've had some really incredible shows, and I think that's an example of what you could see at any of these racetracks where these cars run. And so hopefully the people that turn up really love what they see and continue to support the racetrack and continue to support Flow and the streaming options that you have. I think we take it for granted just how lucky we are to be able to tune into Flow and watch pretty much any race we want. You could not do that 10 years ago. I mean, when they started streaming on the top of the roof up there, this was like the only other place that run this and maybe one other track that showed late model stocks. And now you just have so many options at your fingertips, and it's well priced, and I think we're spoiled a little bit. I know I am, and so I think we have a great vessel in Flow to show people what late model stock racing is all about. And when we can come here and have a great crowd and a great field of cars, they'll see a hell of a show tomorrow, and a lot of those people will be seeing it for the first time. So hopefully they'll keep continuing to come back to Langley and supporting the track.
Well, on behalf of Flo, we appreciate the kind words. Last question, real quick. You want to talk about great races. June, Cars Tour here, great race. And this team, this car with Carson came up just a couple feet, maybe at most short. Did you learn enough yesterday and today to get those few feet and tell Carson, hey, I got the win?
Well, I think the car is good enough to win the race, and it's going to come down to me. I'm not good at qualifying. I don't know why, but every time I bolt on stickers and tape off, and I don't care what track with this car or these kind of cars, I cannot get the car to rotate and get speed out of it like everybody else, and that's really been tough for me, because even though this is a race where we'll be able to work our way through the field if the car is great and you're smart, you still just don't want to give up that much track position at the start of the race. So hopefully, I'd love it if we could qualify in the top 15, but that's been difficult for me to do, and I don't think I got a real shot at winning these races until we can get to qualifying better for me.
Well, qualifying Saturday afternoon and then racing at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time here from Langley. We'll catch Earnhardt Jr. and see what he's got in the Hampton Heat.